Joe, thanks for coming again. Thanks for talking to us. How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling good, optimistic for the new season. So
good, as are we. Sit here the day, it was like pretty much a year to the day that we sat here the last time. On the eve, I think could have actually been a game day. We were playing Cove Rangers, the League Cup. Here we sit today, day before the new season. It's a European season as well. We'll sell out season tickets, sell out for tomorrow's home game. How are you feeling? How's it all gone?
Pleased so far. I think that we've managed to do some good business, sign the players that we wanted to sign. We've been patient. Hopefully the fans can understand that and sort of respect that, because we want to get quality rather than just quantity. Tomorrow, big test. I think Ross County they've signed some decent players that I knew from League One. So hopefully the boys are ready for it. But we're looking forward to the season for the league and the European campaign. It's what we're all in the game for, isn't it?
Yeah, and like I said, when we spoke last year, I think it was one of the first games we were allowed back in. It was maybe 5,000 capacity or something. What difference does it make to the team? Because obviously with the championship season, which was almost like a ghost season, it was empty stadiums, it was going up and down, and then obviously last year's the first season that we've been back with full houses. What difference does that make to the team?
Well, I think we can go into the last season, the Celtic game, what was there, 6,000 fans there? It was absolutely brilliant. It didn't feel as if it was 6,000 fans, because obviously fans had been away for so long and they were desperate to get back. But touching upon like the fact that if we can get a full house every week here or most weeks, then that's brilliant. The players love that. The players want to play in front of a Tynecastle. It's a full house because it supports them, it backs them, and it gives them that extra motivation and push to try and be the best team and win the game. So I think the fans are crucial for us in that sense.
Aye, and that was one of the things I liked the most about last year. Was I don't know if it was just a sort of perfect storm of, because we'd been away for ages and COVID and we weren't allowed in, but last year the connection between the team and the crowd was brilliant. And we'd sell it away venues every week. Tynecastle was bouncing, and you could really see that drive the players on as well. Yeah,
I think the players they thrive in that. That's what they want. Like football players will tell you, the atmospheres that makes it for them. Playing in empty stadiums and things like that, they don't like that. They don't want to be involved in that. They want to come where there's intimidation if you're at Celtic or you're at Rangers, but when you come here there's intimidation for the opposition as well, and our fans are so close to the pitch that you feel and hear everything. And as a staff member, I'm so proud when I walk out and you see the fans, you see them singing, shouting and cheering, because you can tell that the players love that and they're up for it, and then the coaching staff, they thrive in that as well, so it's brilliant for us.
Aye. And obviously tomorrow as well we'll get the sort of a new generation. We've got the new stadium announcers and stuff. I've been talking to them. They've been trying to get ideas as to how we can get Tynecastle going, because again, Tynecastle's great at the best time, but the players and users must be buzzing for European nights to be coming back to Tynecastle.
To be fair, Robbie's been telling me about this. Obviously I've never experienced a European night here, so he's been telling me that the place just changes. It's completely different. It's just, league campaign's brilliant, but when it's the European nights, it's something special. So I must say I'm looking forward to it. I know Andrew, the chief executive, he's looking forward to it as well. We're all looking forward to it, but I think we want to be competitive. We want to make sure that we're going into games, we'll try to win the games, and we're not just turning up.
Yep. And that again, it's going to, for me, it feels like it's going to be another perfect storm, because the last time we've been in Europe, we've sort of been at Murrayfield for like long spells, etc. And it was great because you get 30,000 etc. at the games, but 20,000 absolutely packed a Thursday night, so close, and it's going to be amazing. I remember I think it was a Liverpool game we played here, and even your ITVs and your other broadcasters that are normally here were like, this is outrageous, the atmosphere in here. So it's going to be pretty special. Talking of last season, obviously, with a great season, how do you reflect on it? What was your sort of high points of last year?
Do you know, the Celtic game was a high point, because it kind of we stamped our authority straight away in that game. We beat Celtic, and we kind of showed that we mean business. I thought that we were good in that game. Low point, not winning the Scottish Cup, because I think that we'd worked so hard to get to that position, and again, sometimes you have to just say you were beat with a better team, and I think Rangers were a better team on the day. But I think upon reflection, a few of the players will probably have regrets about that game, because we could have taken the game to them, and we could have probably, if Ellis scores that goal that hits the post, then for me it's a different game. So that is a low point, I think. But there was definitely more high points. Like obviously we talk about the derby games. The derby games are brilliant. Watching Ellis score that first goal against Hibs at Hampden was just amazing. What an amazing feeling. And again, as soon as I went in, I knew we'd win the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so many high points. I just loved last season. I thought it was a brilliant season for us. I think we really showed that we were a good team last season, and it's now for us, we need to make sure that we show we're an even better team this season.
Yeah, obviously we've done our business, and it's much documented that we're more we're almost like a silent assassin in the transfer window. Before, we used to have this culture where every man in their dug would know our business before it hit the press. We've been a lot more, you spoke about that last year, about how more guarded we are. How impressed were you with our business that we did last year?
I think first and foremost the coaches have to take a lot of credit for that. They coach the players, they make the players better, they improve them, and I think we brought in good players and the coaches made them better. The whole staff, the performance staff, the physios, we looked after them, we kept them injury free for large spells of the season, and the coaches, Robbie and his coaches, were brilliant. I was really pleased with all the signings. It's hard for me to pick out individuals because we didn't bring Barry McKay until September, but Barry made a huge difference for us. But then Alex Cochrane was so solid for us. And even your Ben Woodburns, your Taylor Moores, they played a part in a successful season for us. So they were all crucial signings. Your two Aussies, Cammy and Nate, came in and really helped us and hit the ground running. But I think we also have to mention that signing new boys the boys to new contracts, your Kingsleys, your Halkets, your Craig Gordons, your Andy Hallidays, keeping that sort of core group together was crucial for us. And for us doing that, again, it sent out a message that we meant business. So overall, as much as new signings are great, managing to retain the core group was brilliant as well for us.
Aye, and that was one of the things we spoke about last year, obviously with the John Souttar situation, and that was common business for Hearts before. You bring players in and get them to Aaron Hickey to a certain extent as well, was into the last months of his contract. Is that something that you've really tried to focus on to make sure that our talent is tied down so that the club benefits from it?
Yeah, I think nobody wants to say they're a selling club, but out with probably the top five, your Real Madrids, your PSGs, everybody's a selling club, and we need to create assets, and that's why you tie your players down to longer term contracts, because again, if we have a good season this season and we do well in Europe, then you never know who's going to be champing at your door trying to sign your players. So if we're protected with 2-3 year contracts, then it gives us the chance to turn around to them and say, no, that's not an offer we deem acceptable. It needs to be X amount or we won't let them go. And we need to be comfortable in that knowledge that if it's not X amount, then we won't let them go. And the board have told me that. The board have said, look, we never sell a player that we don't think, if the value's not right, then we won't sell them. And for me as a sporting director and for Robbie as a manager, that's all we can ask for.
Have you noticed a bit of this isn't just Hearts related as well, but you've seen your Lewis Fergusons, your Aaron Hickey, etc., Kieran Tierney and stuff. Have you noticed a bit of a shift in the perception of Scottish football because these guys are leaving Scottish football on decent money and coming back to English football on megabucks? I
think what you find with that is, see if the players go and do well, it attracts other teams to look at the league. So Kieran Tierney's went down, done well. Andy Robertson's went down, done well. Aaron Hickey's went over to Italy and done well. A notoriously very difficult league, a very defensive league at times, and he's shown that he can do that. So it's meant that the Italian teams have went, okay, this is interesting, and obviously they've taken Lewis Ferguson. Josh Doig went from Hibs, who came through our academy, was developed by us. So I think that Celtic as well and Rangers doing well in Europe hopefully continues to grow the game, and then hopefully we're the next team that continues to grow the game, be doing well in Europe and giving us that chance to showcase that there is talented players in Scotland.
Like you said, I think we've definitely, as a fan base anyway, noticed a big difference in that aspect. And like you said, as much as the guys that we signed and brought into the club made that massive impact, I think the most impressive bit of businesses that we've done is like your Kingsley, getting them on a contract, your Andy Halliday, your Craig Halkets and Craig Gordon and stuff. So as a fan, well done. You're doing a good job, mate.
Thank you, appreciate
it. So talk about this season. Obviously, as we sit here with Ross County tomorrow, is it almost more pressure on us this year because we've had such a good season, or what's your expectation? How do you see it?
Well, I'm glad you touched upon that because I got absolutely battered for saying that my personal ambition was to win the league, and I just think that for me that tells you a lot about Scotland as a society and as a nation, that we're a very, very negative nation. Show a bit of ambition, you get battered for it. I think our expectations are we need to be better than what we've done last season. It's going to be difficult. We're in Europe, we've got a lot more games, teams have strengthened, they've improved their team, so we need to match that, we need to be better than that. So I'm not going to sit here and say we want to finish first, second or third because I know what it's like, but our ambition is to be better what we've done last season, so that means we have to be in that top three, and that's the aim, and we've signed players to showcase that we've got that squad available to do that to us. But again, the European games will be difficult because if we get into the Europa League, it'll be a very hard group. But even the Conference League, you look at some of the teams, look who won it. Roma won it. Okay. So there's going to be good teams in that. So how we sort of adjust from the Thursday to the Sunday will be interesting. It'll tell us a lot about the team and the staff and how we can cope with that. But we're ambitious and we want to do well and we want to try and compete in all fronts.
So you're right when you get battered for saying it, and one of the things I made was, in 3 years' time it'll be 40 years since anybody outside Celtic and Rangers won the league, and for the last 10 years all we've heard is here we go 10 in a row, and Sky and the press etc. almost glamorising it like that was something to be proud of. Obviously from Celtic they will be, that would be something that they chase, but for us surely as a team and as a group of teams we must look at that and think we've got to do something to change that.
Yeah, I think why not? Why always look to say finishing third, finishing fourth good? It shouldn't be good enough. You should always aim for the top. What is it? There's a saying like, well, I always say it: aim for the moon, and if you land in the stars, be happy. Right. And that's what we'll be doing. And we're trying to get closer to Rangers and Celtic. We know it'll be very, very difficult. We know how good a teams they two are, and they've strengthened really, really well again this season. We feel we've strengthened really well, but I'm not in football just to sit in here and say I finished third, because you don't get a trophy for it. You don't get anything for it. You get maybe a pat in the back and well done, Joe, it was a good season. Well, it's a good season, but I want to make it a great season. And that was what Robbie was, his sort of chat at the end of the season was, when we were in the cup final, we've had a good season, finishing third, we've got to the cup final, but can we make it a great season? We win in the cup, and we didn't. So it wasn't a great season for us because we didn't win the cup, and I totally agreed with Robbie on that. You want to win the cup, you want to sit there. You look at we had the Player of the Year dance in the 2012, the Scottish Cup winners all getting their awards and things like that. And that was brilliant to see, and it should motivate us to be that next sort of generation to be able to do that, to have the fans turn around saying, oh, look at that team in 2021, 2022, 2023, they've won the Scottish Cup, or they've done this, they've won the League Cup. We've not won the League Cup in a few years.
Yeah.
So we need to, do you know what I mean? We need to be aiming to, you need to strive to win these things.
Aye, it always, but I don't understand why it gets such a reaction that it does. Like, surely it's supposed to be a competitive league, so every team, Aberdeen and Hibs, should be setting their sights, let's win it.
I worked in England, and you speak to clubs in England, you speak to a League One team, and you say, what's your ambition? Get to Premier League. Nobody bats an eyelid down there. They go, yeah, if you're organised, you've got a good team, good coaching structure, you've got a chance of doing that. Getting to the Premier League's absolutely murder. Let's not kid ourselves. You need to win promotion for League One, and then you need to win promotion for the Championship, which is full of teams that have been in the Premier League before. But teams do it, and they're capable of doing it. You say up here in Scotland, oh, want to try and win the league, and you get absolutely laughed at, battered. But one of the things that annoyed me the most was I was getting messages from all sorts of people saying, oh, look at you, this, that, saying you want to win the league. And I'm like, why don't you actually listen to the interview? Right. Listen to the words I said and then come back to me. I didn't say we're going to win it. I said my personal ambition is, can we try? Yeah. We've got to aim for it. We might never do it, but what's the point of not trying for it?
100%, I agree. So you touched on it there. We've got Europe, we've got the league, so it's going to be really tough, that adjustment. I've liked the way we've done pre-season with this whole go to England and then come back up and play here and then go to England. How tough a balancing act is that going to be for us? I
think very tough. We found, certainly after the first game when we played Tranmere, and we were, I don't know if you guys were at the game, but the first half we were alright, we weren't very much in the game. Second half I thought we were excellent, won the game 2-1. Came up here, we were flying against Crawley for the first 45 minutes, should have been 5-0 up. But then the legs started to go a wee bit in the second half. Crawley scored 2 early goals. Again, we probably should have won the game, but we didn't. So in that sense, it's been brilliant for us, because it's allowed Robbie and his coaching staff to really look at what's been different, what can they change, how can they, what can they improve. And then we go down to Preston, we give a good account of ourselves at Preston, but then we're better prepared for Stoke, and we beat Stoke, and Stoke are a good side. Let's not kid ourselves, that's a good Championship side, as is Preston. So I think that stood us in good stead. But the proof will be in the pudding when we get the draw, won't it? It depends if we're in the Europa League or the Conference League. It depends where you're travelling to, how far you're travelling, if it's flights and then buses, how can you get to the places that you're staying, can you get back quickly, can you get back into training on the Friday afternoon, can you get the recovery in, can you be training on the Saturday? Again, a few of the European games, we're away to Aberdeen and we're away to Ross County when we come back, so that'll be difficult for us. Yeah, it's very tough, and Aberdeen's 3 hours away from here, or maybe 2.5, Ross County's 3 hours away, so we need to adjust to that. And I'm really interested to see how the team copes with that, because that's why we've tried to strengthen and get a bigger squad, because we know we've got a lot of games between now and Christmas, and we need to make sure that the squad's full and the squad's packed with quality, and that's what we're trying to do.
Get Robbie and the boys in the Mallard before the game for Ross County, they'll be absolutely buzzing. I hate Ross County away until we've started turning into like the best. I think that's been our European trip for like the past 5 years.
I can imagine.
It's been brilliant. But you've noticed, we talked about it as well, about a couple of changes as well. You've noticed it in international football, where gone are the days where you rock up to a country that you're supposed to beat, and it's the same in Europe. Look at Motherwell last night, although they played pretty poor. there's no giving in Europe, do you know what I mean? So we could be at the outer reaches of wherever it is against a side we've never heard of, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a walk in the park.
Yeah, and again, a lot of these teams are able to sign South Americans, and the South Americans are quality players, let's not kid ourselves, and they can attract good players because they might spend a wee bit more money, the tax situation might be different, they don't have Brexit to deal with, so you don't know what you're getting into with some of these clubs, and it's the unknown, but you're in Europe for a reason, because you're one of the top 4 best sides in your country, unless you've won the cup, and if you've won the cup you're also a very good side in the competition. So I think we're going to face dangerous teams no matter where we play, and it's up to us to sort of combat that and show that we're a good team as well, and that's the aim for us. Is we want to do Scotland proud, we want to do our fans proud and show that when we play we're a good team and we can cause teams problems. And again, our ambition has to be to qualify through the Europa League or the Conference League. We have to try and finish top 2, that has to be the ambition, and even if we get some top sides in the Europa League or the Conference League, you're going there to try and beat them. What's the point of turning up?
Right. And I suppose you kind of just answered it there. Was one of my things was going to be, are we going to prioritise the league, or are we going to prioritise Europe, or is it just a case of put the best 11 that we have on each week and see what we can do?
I think us at Hearts, I'm not trying to preach to the fans here, but us at Hearts, that we finished 3rd last season, we're the 3rd best team in the country. We have to win every game. We have to show that we want to win every game, and I think our record has to improve through in Glasgow. I think we all can sort of testify to that and say that, but again, looking at some of the games last year, we drew 1 each with Rangers. I think the last 30 minutes we were the better team. If it went another 5-10 minutes, we probably won the game. The Celtic game, Kyogo's goals offside. Let's not kid ourselves. And again, Celtic were good that day, don't get us wrong, and it caused us a lot of problems, but we grew right into the game in the last 25-30 minutes again. So we need to try and better that and try and beat the Old Firm in their own patch, but then also beat the Old Firm here. We beat Celtic last season, but then we get beat the rest of the games. A few of them were close. So we need to do that, but then I think Aberdeen will be stronger this year. Dundee United will be stronger this year. Hibs potentially could be stronger this year. So we have to aim to win every game. I think you guys would tell us, if we're playing in Europe on the Thursday night and we're coming home and we're at St Mirren or we've got St Johnstone, you're expecting us to win it. And we're expecting to win it, because if you want to be a team that's fighting for European places every year, you need to beat these teams. You need to go into these games, and you might not play great, but you win it 1-0 or you win it 2-1. You have enough quality in your team to win the games, and that's what we have to try and aim for. And
you not go back to what we just spoke about there, but you made a good point there. Is when you say we want to challenge Celtic Rangers, part of the problem that we have is, like you said, so we start the season flying with Celtic, we take 3 points off them. If we played in a bigger league where we only had to play each other twice, if they beat us, then we're back to 0. They've got no advantage on us. Whereas we have to play them 4 times, you have to play Rangers 4 times. It's 24 points a season, so even if you grab a last minute equaliser at Ibrox and you come up the road thinking, all we've got to do is beat them here, and that's 4 points we've taken off them.
Yep.
They can beat you 3 times and suddenly they've picked up 9 points on you, and that's always missed in the conversations.
Yeah, absolutely.
When people talk about it, and that's what drives me insane. You'd mentioned there, and it wouldn't be, we can't talk about last season without talking about Robbie and his team. What a turnaround, isn't it?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Listen, I watch them every day. I've got a good relationship with Robbie. I've seen the hard work. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. After the Brora and the Queen of the South game, I sat down with Robbie and we were talking, saying, what do we do? And he says, Joe, this is what happens at a big club. You need to win games. It's allowed me to sort of see the players in a different light. It's allowed me to hit the reset button. It's allowed me to change the tactics, change the formation, and do it properly and do it the way I absolutely want to do it. And I think the proof's been in the pudding. The team's been brilliant for the last year or so, and a lot of that's credit to Robbie and his staff. And it's just Robbie and Lee and Gordy, but then like Paul Gallagher's got such a tough job. You're coaching the
right.
best goalkeeper in the country, so he's had to keep Craig motivated, which has been great. But the performance staff, Bob, Mikey, Craig, Ross, they all keep the boys fit. They make sure that the fitness level's brilliant, and everything. Like the team really excelled last season, but it was because the whole group came together. It was a great culture, a great environment. I know that a lot of people say that and maybe don't believe it, but down there at the training camp, training academy, it is brilliant. We have a great group of players, great group of staff. Everybody's joined together because they know that this is where they want to be, and they want to strive to make Hearts the best team they can possibly be. So I was personally delighted, but I wasn't surprised because I seen the work that the guys were doing on the pitch, and I could see the style that Robbie wanted to sort of implement, and you can see that. We've got rotations, we've got pattern to play, and people might say, oh, you do this or you do that, but you still can't work it out because we still get Barry Mackay on the ball. We still manage to get boys saying hopefully Shank's scoring goals, and we get our wing backs flying up the wing, we get centre backs stepping in with the ball. We've got a really, really good style of play at the moment, and it's, for me, sometimes you sit there and you're you're proud to watch your team. The second half at Tranmere, I was really proud. I thought we were brilliant, and for the majority of the game against Stoke last week, I was delighted because you just sit there and you can see what Robbie's trying to do. You can see what he's working on, and when it comes off in the pitch, there's no better feeling for the coaches because they're saying that we worked on this all week and then it works. It's brilliant for us. So, no, listen, I've been absolutely delighted working with Robbie and his staff, and long may it continue.
Cat told me I wasn't allowed to ask you to reimburse me for all the bed sheets I wrote Robbie out on, so we'll no, but you're right. And one of the things, and we put it down to you and Andrew and other people, but there has been a very noticeable step change in the direction of the football club. We're used to this. We always used to talk about this sort of jam tomorrow culture about a 5-year plan, and it's rubbish just now, but stick with us because just round the corner all this amazing stuff's coming. And there almost feels like we kind of drew a line in the sand, and since Robbie's come back, so a lot more bullish as well. He talks very much like yourself, to be like, we're a big club, like we've got to start acting like a big club. Forget about a year's time, let's folk about today. We've got St Mirren at home, we need to batter them. Yeah, and I think that's the key. Like you have all these long-term plans and they all sound great, saying I've got this project, you're going to do this, do that. Robbie needs to win on the Saturday, and I need to make sure that the team performs the way we want it to perform. But people don't, like, I'll be judged as a sporting director, and I find it funny because people say to me, what's the biggest thing about being a sporting director? And it'll be recruitment, because that's all you're ever judged on. Now, I don't know whether you are interested or not, but my remits, the women's team, the academy, performance, recruitment, analysis, I have all that under my remit, and I have to make sure that all runs accordingly. But I'll be judged on, he signs a good player, he's a good sporting director, signs a rubbish player, he's not a good sporting director, sack him. So I live with that pressure as well, and I thrive on that. It's the sort of pressure I love. I want to be involved in that side of things, and for us, we just need to make sure that we're focused on the Saturday, then the Thursday, then the Saturday, then the Thursday, and then when the League Cup comes, we're focused on that, then the Scottish Cup comes, we're focused on that. Every game's so important to us because we want to win every game. I agree. So we spoke about the season, this season. We've obviously still got, what is it, the transfer window's open a lot longer than people kind of seem to think, because it's September, isn't it?
1st of September, yeah.
So business so far, how are you feeling with how we've done in the window? Really pleased. We've looked for quality over quantity. We've managed to get the players that we've targeted. One of the first conversations I ever had with Robbie when I came into the building 18 months ago was, if you could get a striker, who would it be? And he says Lawrence Shanklin. So it's 18 months of hard work to get. We'd looked at it when he was at Dundee United, but too expensive for us. Let's be clear. Went to Beershot, didn't really work out for him, and we managed to get him back. And so that's been a really pleasing signing, because if you were at a game on Saturday, you'd see what he'd done. Robbie told everybody what Lawrence does is he comes alive in the box. Now, if you watch the first goal, how he manoeuvres his body, allow the ball to hit off his shin to go in, that's just a clever striker, that. And then his second goal was great technique. The first one comes right back to him and he has to adjust quickly. So we've been really pleased with that. I think Alan Forrest has been, like, the boys have been really, really taken to him. You can tell, because great attitude, brilliant boy, great character, but good player as well. He's doing exactly what Robbie wants him to do, and we needed that. We welcomed Alex Cochrane back, delighted to get Alex back. Alex wanted to come back, we wanted him back, got the deal done. We managed to get Robbie Neilson from Dundee United, which we're hoping could be a good signing. 6'3", big, tall, athletic, imposing centre back. George Grant, I'd tracked George for a long time down south. Robbie had obviously known about him as well. George is an absolute technician. He's just a ball player. He's just what you'd call a pure footballer. And we need that type. I think sometimes when you need to break teams down, it's sitting against you. So no, we've been really, really pleased with the signings. We've been delighted, to be honest with you. The thing that got me the most excited about the Lawrence Shanklin goals is the second one's ugly, but it's ugly for all the right reasons, because last year, whoever, whether it be Boy, Sims, Mackay, or whoever takes the initial shot, the keeper saves it, comes back to them. We'd probably took a touch there, try to find a pilot, try to find somebody, try to pass it in. He just smash it at him. Keeper's still on the ground, he's got to adjust, I'll just hit it at him. And that was the one that was the most exciting for me, because I love Liam Boyce, and you'll know everything about Boyce. He's everything on the park, same with Mackay, he's all over the place. But probably that, even though he was our top goal scorer last year, he probably has that instinctive finishing stuff is probably not missing from his game, but it's where I think Shanklin will more than make up for his sort of shortcomings, if that makes sense.
I think you can see with Boyce that he's got that versatility. Boyce excelled for us at times in that number 10 position last year, with Sims, Big Ellis allowed to run away for the ball, and Boyce can do that. And Boyce works hard for the team. He covers a lot of distance for the team. He's a great boy. The boys all love him, and he backs it up with performances. And again, the player that I missed, was Kai Rowles. Like, we've been tracking Kai for obviously over a year, and we're delighted to get Kai. He's looked so comfortable, he's settled in so well. Having the Aussie boys has been clear, and I think we've started a bit of a trend, to be fair, because a lot of the Scottish clubs are now trying to sign all the Aussie boys, so we'll probably just move on to another market now and leave them there and go elsewhere.
Do you want to talk us a bit about that? Because obviously you're right, we've been very, very good in that market as well. We'd obviously looked at the J League and stuff, and Celtic and Ange Postecoglou have obviously exploited that. Why the shift? Why over there now? What's the sort of attraction to that side of the world?
Value for money. They're international players. They've played for Australia or maybe Japan at under 23s in the Olympics. They're on the verge of a call-up. Look at Cammy. If Cammy hadn't got injured, he was on the verge of a call-up. Nate's now been capped since he's been with us. Kai's been capped since he started. People knew that he was signing for us. So the league's a lot better than people sort of give it credit for. Just because it's over the other side of the world, people sort of forget about it. But look at the impact the Japanese players had at Celtic. I mean, like, you could argue 3 out of the 4 they signed were game changers for them. And I just think that it's markets that we should be looking at, because if there's value there, then the quality is definitely there. They're full internationals, are 22, 23 years of age. Their attitudes are brilliant. They're desperate for an opportunity, desperate for a chance to show that they can be good players, and we should give them that. And again, the 3 Aussies we've signed, we've been absolutely delighted with them. They've come in and done exactly what we asked of them, and they're going to improve, they're going to get better. And it's a market now, as we've just spoken about, that other clubs have obviously touched on, and we've had numerous clubs asking us about the players and how did you go through this, and try to sort out the work permits, try to sort out the visas and things like that, because we are so experienced on it now. Like, we've got Janine, myself, Robbie, Andrew, we getting heavily involved in it. George Brown, Will, my head of recruitment, we are heavily involved in it. We know the point system, we know GBE, we know exactly what we're looking for, we know how to put the pack together. We do over 100-page pack to send to the SFA to say this is why we feel that they should be signing here, because it's a point system, and to get an automatic qualification you need 15 points. The most that we've had of the Aussie boys has been 7, but we've showcased their talents. We've shown in the videos and the footage that we put together that they will improve us, they will improve Scottish football. And when the panel looks at it, you can tell the panel thinks, yeah, well, clearly they do, because they sanction it and say that they're good to go, because we're showing them that these players will be good for Scottish football, they'll be good for Hearts, and they'll improve the league, and that's what they're doing. So long may it continue.
Yeah, and like I said, we've been well impressed with everybody that's came in. Cammy obviously was just a nutcase, but the type of player that
brilliant
Hearts love.
Boy.
You know,
yeah, brilliant.
Obviously behind us we've got Busby 8 that's gone up there. Everybody used to call him Buzz Bomb. That was what he was all about. He just got tore in, and it's that thing. If you get stuck in, fans love you. Obviously we've still got 4 weeks left of the transfer window. What areas are we looking at? Are we any sort of positions, or just see what happens now? Yeah,
no, we're keeping an eye on a few positions. Potentially centre back. We're not quite sure if we might dip into that market. We might not. Probably needing our central midfielder, because Benny's probably not returning until December, January. Then we've probably needed another attacker to help Alan Forrest, George Grant, Barry, Boycey, and Shanks. We need somebody that maybe is quick and runs away for the ball at the top end of the pitch. So, but again, we have to stress we've been offered 101 players, but if they're not right for the system, they're not right for the style, we won't sign them. We've been linked with numerous players, and it's funny because some of the players that you're linked with, I'll text the agent and say, I told you 3 weeks ago I've no interest in this player. And then he'll come back to me and say, I'm just trying to draw up interest because your recruitment's been good.
Aye.
You think, well, listen, that doesn't bother me because we're not trying to sign him. We'll move on. So it's quality. I need to preach it's quality over quantity. We need to wait, we need to be patient, and we will be patient. We will wait for the right ones to come, and I'm confident they will come, and when they come, hopefully they can improve us.
And that's why, again, you go back to Robbie and them being thoroughly deserving of their deal. Is we're in a massive positive position for that exact thing. We're in no rush. The spine of the team is not just settled, but proper quality. So anybody that does come, they have to add to the side that's already there.
Yeah, and that's key. This squad is now very, very strong. There's real competition. You can see the players looking over their shoulders thinking, if I don't perform, I'm out of the team and I might not get back in the team. So we need to keep that. We need to maintain that sort of level of professionalism, and the boys need to know that when we're signing players, it's because we see them as players that could be better than them, and that drives them. I think, like, for me, it'll be really interesting to see how Boycey does, because when we signed a couple of players in Boyce's position, I think Boyce's kicked on. I think he's went, okay, interesting, let's step it up again. He stepped it up again. So I think that'll be the same with Shanks, and I'm really interested to see how they two play together when they play together, because I think it could be a real good combination.
What about, obviously, we talking about this season as well, but we've got the sort of Colt team and then the reserve leagues coming back and stuff. How are we going to sort of balance between getting the next sort of Aaron Hickeys and stuff into the first team?
Crucial. The B team with Nazy and the coaches is crucial. We need to get that up and running. I don't know if you were at the game against Spartans on Tuesday night. I was there. I was absolutely delighted with it because they're an established Lowland League team, Spartans, and we absolutely battered them. They couldn't get out of their half in the second half. We get beat 1-0 by an own goal, but their sort of chairman and things like that after the game were saying to me that it's the first time they've ever been at a game where they've not had a shot on target and won the game. But that was good for our boys in terms of the perspective that there's games that you're going to come up against these teams who are going to sit in, they're going to have a low block, they're going to defend, and they're going to say, come at us. There's centre forwards that are big, strong, physical that they generally won't meet when they're playing academy football. So we're delighted to have the B team. We're thankful for the Lowland League allowing us in. But then it's allowed us to promote a good few of the younger ones from the 16s up to the 18s, to give them 3 years at the 18s level and showing them, look, there's a pathway. Look at the B team, and then you get into the B team, you can compete. Robbie was at the game on Tuesday night. He'll go to the games with the B team and make sure that everybody's firing on all cylinders. Nazy's a good coach. He's working at a great level with Scotland. So no, we're really, really pleased. And again, touch upon the women's team. Ava's really strengthened the team. She's managed to sign a good few players. She's managed to attract a few players from down south, which is great. The club's massively backed her with the budget that we've given them, but she's backed us by showing us that she has got the talent to be a very, very good coach, and she's got the talented players to really push the women's team this year, and that's exciting. It's exciting times for us.
Yeah, like you said, every sort of department of the club seems to be heading in the right direction, which kind of takes us to where we'll go before we end our wee chinwag, whatever we want to call it. Future, what does it look like? If you asked you last year, when your time comes at Hearts and you want to hang with, what does success look like for you?
Winning a cup, or winning cups, getting closer to the old firm. I think player trading will be interesting as well. If we can start to develop players that other clubs are coming in and spending millions of pounds on, I think that is a sort of benchmark for a successful sporting director. If you can showcase that they're signing players and then flipping them 18 months to 2 years into a top European side for millions of pounds, that would be good for me. I'd like to see that. I don't want to be a selling club, but if you're doing that and you're making millions, then you can start to invest more of that into the academy, into the women's team, into the first team. You can start to sign better players, spend more money, sit and improve the team overall. But I would love to win a cup. I'd love to win a cup with this club, because I think that it would be some day and night if we to manage to do that. I seen what the final was like with the Rangers game and how everything had been planned, and unfortunately we never won it. But again, we need to get back there and we need to strive to be back in that position again to eventually win. Aye,
well, like you said, you've got to be there to win it, and I think, what was it, our 4th cup final in 5 years or something like that. So, you know, one of these times. Joe, thanks. Always great talking to you. Cheers, man.
No, perfect. No, thank you.